Hey guys, how's it going? Mega Gears here. So recently I've been reading a book called Nexus. It's an omnibus. Fortunately, Comixology has it, the first three omnibuses, or is it omnibuy, on Comixology to borrow if you have Comixology Unlimited. It's one of those interesting things because apparently it was a creator-owned project that came out in the 80s. It actually seemed like it did pretty well. I think it ran for like 100 issues. It wasn't by the Big Two or Marvel. I think it was by Capital Comics or something like that. It was one of those smaller publishers that kind of fell under in the 80s and it kind of jumped around to publisher. But I guess the best way to explain it for someone who hasn't checked it out, it's kind of like a cross between those old school Hanna-Barbera cartoons of Space Ghost and Captain Marvel. Not the Shazam Captain Marvel, but the Kree Captain Marvel. And it's funny because it's one of those things where the way it's written, it kind of has this pulpy sci-fi adventure vibe to it, but at the same time kind of has a little bit of a Shakespearean feel to it. And the reason why I say that is because the main character, Nexus, you later find out his real name is Horatio, and he is the son of I guess you could say, a king, or I forget the way they say it, but he was son of a king of a planet or whatever, and they had left because there was like a civil war, and he fell in love with his mother, who was an alien of a very alien woman of a very wealthy merchant family. So what you end up finding later on through an interview by, I think, she's a news anchor journalist. Later you find out she's a spy called Sandra Peel, who actually later on is a double agent, and you find out that she ends up falling in love with him, and she decides to give up her life and the company that she works for that was supposed to turn him in and find all this dirt on him so they could take him down, because Nexus is extremely powerful. He has like this weird energy manipulation thing, but the thing that makes him different from just a Superman allegory that shoots laser beams and is really powerful is that the guy has dreams, which is one of these things where he's kind of like a precog, and he's able to have these dreams that are normally nightmares of things to come, someone to die, constantly having dreams of civilizations dying, all this type of stuff. And they're like really, really bad panic attacks. So it kind of makes things interesting without making him just nigh invincible. He has some inner demons that he has to fight, and he gets into like this weird artificial womb fluid bath in a secret compartment of his gigantic spaceship. And he saved a whole bunch of other aliens and all this type of stuff. But yeah, it has a cool adventure vibe to it, and there's a character in there named Jutta. He's the son of this other character named Deem. They kind of have this. They kind of look like a weird, strange Dr. Seuss thing going on. They're like humanoid ape men type thing. It's kind of weird to explain because the character designs are so unique and just fresh. It's not like your standard. Okay, this is your standard drawn alien. Each alien they kind of have this cool design to them that you don't see in too many other comics. But Jutta is probably one of my favorite characters because he's a warrior, right? And he's always for fighting, protecting the weak, and all this type of stuff, and doing what's right. But he's kind of like a barbarian at the same time, and he's like just a party guy. Like, the guy drinks beer for breakfast. He likes to party and all this other type of stuff. And I think Nexus is interesting because his relationship of him with Sandra Peel is one of those things where she grounds him because he constantly has to fight these nightmares that he has. He's extremely powerful, and it's easy for someone like that to just be isolated and alone, and she kind of grounds him, which is interesting because he's also has this very intuitive and curious personality to him as well. He's not like Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen or something, all-knowing. He also is very curious. He likes to excavate. He likes to explore the stars. He likes to learn all these different things. He's kind of like a awkward bookworm, which is weird because when you see him as Nexus in his cool costume, he just seems like a very intimidating figure, but he's really just a guy trying to figure out his way in the world, even though he can't die. The dude's like nigh invincible. But the stories that they present really help him to grow as a character. You find more about him, his life. He really cares about people and doing what's right. He always executes vengeance and justice on those who've been wronged. He always ends up taking a whole bunch of people that have planets who've been destroyed or people that were enslaved and stuff. So his ship has all these different aliens with him that are basically coming for asylum, and he takes care of them and all that type of stuff. So it's a really interesting book. I will say the barrier might be that it takes the first 5-issue miniseries that started before the main run. So the first 5 issues are in black and white, which for some people might be a tough thing. I think that's kind of odd, that it's kind of hard for people to get into those comics that are in black and white, because so many people read manga and that's in black and white. But after that, the rest of the issues are in color. At least for the first omnibus. I'm like kind of like a little past halfway. The omnibus is like 400 pages. All right, I think I'm like 200 and some pages in, which shows you how much I liked it. Like in one sitting, I read like 200 and some pages of the book. But yeah, guys, let me know if you've ever heard of Nexus. I know it's a deep cut. It came out in the 80s. It's not really something that's brought up anymore. It's a lot of these older popular comics that a lot of people just really haven't heard of. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next.